It's always a good sign when your tag team partner goes missing to start your show.
All right.
That's always a good way. That's always
recording in progress is always the best way. You want to promote me, and I'll do the backup copy.
Yeah, sure. I was just hit promote on you. No, I hit recording in progress because I wanted everybody to hear. This is the perfect. I knew this was going to be a good episode because it's always a good episode when we have technical issues.
That is it though. I don't know.
Who cares? We're gonna have fun. You're finally back, so that's great. And I'm glad that you were able to bribe the tribal chief to let you back on the show.
Yes. I am back. Guess who's back again?
The downfall of Greg, the SmackDaddies. The SmackDaddies, the revolutionary podcast of sports entertainment. Describe the downfall of Greg, the SmackDaddies.
Hello, friends, and welcome to your SmackDown review for The Hub. I am Brad the Dad, and riding shotgun with me is my tag team partner, Greg Father Feltham.
Bless you, my son. I am back from special assignment.
Yes, and you RKO'd. Did you RKO Burkhead, or did you just punt him?
I can't comment on that. There's I've been informed that he was fearful for his life, and now I'm under various legal obligations where I'm no longer allowed to comment on this publicly. However, I do have some security camera footage that I'll be releasing in the next few weeks.
Well, no. We're going to wait until you move to a different podcast network, and then we'll release the security footage.
Okay. All right. We'll wait then. All right. Sounds good.
Well, it is a Friday night, and Greg and I are here to talk SmackDown. He is squeezing this in between. Like, you're in the middle of a hockey tournament. Do you want to explain to anybody who has never been involved with a hockey tournament how this works?
This tournament is the strangest ever because it's most tournaments you go to, it's a round robin, and then you kind of have crossovers and a semi and a final, and everything kind of wraps up in a nice little package. This one is
hold on with set games. So
like 3 weeks before the tournament, you're playing 12 o'clock on Friday, 3 p.m. on Saturday, and 6 o'clock on Saturday night, or whatever the schedule is. This one is March Madness on crack because they do it as one big snake. And depending, so you start off, I don't know, there's 10 teams or something that starts off in the thing, and you're guaranteed at least 3 games. And in the end, it comes out with 3 different winners, like a top tier winner, a medium tier winner, and then like a bottom tier winner. So in all other ones of these that we've done, our team, I think, has always lost the first 2 games. So we've always kind of played in that bottom bracket. But you don't know when your next game is until after you've completed your first game. So you know whether you win or lose and where you go in the bracket. So it is entirely up in the air. So we started last night with a game at 7:30 in the evening. We finished that. And if we won, we played midday today. If we lost, we played at basically SmackDown's normal start time tonight. So on Friday evening, we won. So that was fine and good. So we played game 2 at lunchtime today, or 12:30, whatever it was. And again, if we win that game, we play Friday night at 6:30. If we lost, we were supposed to play tomorrow at 3:30, I think. We won that game. So we were back and drove back across the city. Oh, and by the way, this is also the weekend they decide to close one of the major routes around the city. So now you have to take the long way around and bypass going across the bridge because they took down one of the bridges. So we were not successful tonight. So we have our first loss of the tournament. So now it's win to stay in. If
for Pete's sake.
if we lose, that's kind of where we are at this point.
Okay, so that sounds like hell.
Yeah, it is.
I only remember this. My cousin used to be a goaltender, and so he's my age. So this was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and my uncle hated this tournament with a fiery passion.
With a passion, because there's no real way to know what's coming next, right? So we'll play tomorrow. If we win that game, then we play again tomorrow night, again back and forth across the city. Because by the way, they use arenas up to an hour drive away to have this tournament,
which is hilarious because we do have things like 4 pads all in the city where they have 4 arenas in one building,
and they use them all. So
that's right, because they're not running one tournament; they're running like 5 tournaments at the same time,
essentially, at each division. And so it's not. So tomorrow we'll play midday again. We've got to drive across the city, over the closed bridge or around the closed bridge to get us there. And then we'll see if we have to go back that way again tomorrow night. And if we do, great. And if we don't, our season is over. And all my hockey, at least for now, is done.
So the good news, though, is that when the bridge is done, we no longer have to pay tolls, and we will no longer have trucks getting stuck in the bridge. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we have in Halifax, we are one of the few places in Canada. We were one of 8 places in Canada with still toll bridges, where the only way to get across to the Halifax was either drive around the harbor, which was a good long crappy drive, or go across one of the 2 bridges that cost you $1 each way. We've done away with that. No big deal. But one of the other reasons is because people would drive across these bridges and there was clearly large tolls for large trucks. And somehow on a regular basis, dumb people would drive through the low tolls and smash into them. I think we're going to make the money back on what they're losing in tolls in a year of not fixing those toll booths.
My bigger concern is not that. Is without tolls and physical structures in place, one, what's to prevent those transport trucks from crossing the bridge that they're not allowed to cross?
Because it's old and crappy. Yes. Okay.
And 2, what's preventing them to go across the bridge they are allowed to cross when it's too windy for them to be on the bridge?
Well, I don't drive to Halifax very often, so these are not my concerns.
Nor do I. It's, I don't know.
They didn't get rid of the bridge police. The good news is there's still going to be people there. They have signs when it's up, they have those big yellow signs driving towards the bridge, and near the bridge that say bridge closed due to high winds.
Sure, but signs everywhere, the signs, Brad.
Yes, I know. And there were signs that said far to the right in order not to run into a toll booth. But here
we are. We literally had a meme, reset the counter, because it's like that days since workplace injury and tear off the sheet, reset the counter, because people are stupid.
There was and I feel bad for the guy who ran the Twitter account that was Halifax trucks getting stuck or whatever the Twitter account was, because now what are they going to do with their life? They had a thing and now it's no longer a thing. Do you know what the thing was tonight, Greg, here as we covered at SmackDown?
All right. How you pivot in this one?
The thing tonight was to sing.
To be able to sing. Yes. Yeah, it was a SmackDown Sing-A-Long is what we had tonight.
Great. And that makes it episode 190 of the SmackDaddies podcast. And what is episode number of the SmackDown are we on?
So yeah, we're not calling this SmackDown Sing-A-Long though.
No,
we'll get to the name. I made the executive decision. This is SmackDown episode 1336 from the O2 Arena in London.
And you got a much better episode than the baloney from Bologna from last week.
I did legitimately. I did not watch the last two SmackDowns because I have been either up to my eyes or fighting pneumonia. So, whatever.
The 2 episodes ago, worth it. This week,
the Barcelona one. Oh, I think I skimmed most of Barcelona.
Yeah, Italy. It was baloney from Bologna.
Yeah.
So we see everybody walk through the back. Classic walkthrough. Nobody gets attacked this time. So Seth's arrives. Charlotte arrives. Apparently, Michin and B-Fab are here tonight. We get LA Knight, Braun Strowman. They're having a match. And then finally, we see Cody walk through the back and goes right into the Cody entrance. And the crowd went to singing.
So this was the first thing that was like, wait, what? So we keep seeing Cody in, these trying to compete with Nick Aldis for best suit. And today he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm on vacation. I'm just going to wear like this jogging suit and windbreaker and it'll be fine.
He's probably run out of suit cleans. He lost the suit. He wrecked.
Oh, this is
remember
dry cleaning day.
Last week, he ripped his shirt open and the buttons went everywhere. So maybe he's a couple of dry cleaning day. So he's in his
cleaning day.
And so Cody Rhodes. That was the song they kept singing. Every time somebody said that, anytime somebody said Cody Rhodes, they did that. And this sing-along went on and they had so much fun. I love the fact that Cody was talking about how he's going to get Cena and he is ready for WrestleMania. And before he gets too far into his promo, I hear voices in my head. And speaking of singing along, the crowd sang along to this as well. Randy Orton, dude.
Yeah. We got Randy Orton. So
Randy Orton is on another level right now when it comes to his promos.
Sure.
You disagree. So last week
I didn't really like this. If I'm honest, I think that.
Okay, so you have to go back last week with Kevin Owens. He had the line "Bitch Owens bitch." You used to be fight funny. Owen fight. You're now bitch Owens bitch. And you can I clipped that for the socials this week. And Randy's not a sentimental guy, and he then but he says, "For you, Cody, I'm going to do that." And then when he says Cody's name, the first time the crowd sings Cody Rhodes, and you can see Randy Orton just pop. He laughs. He covers his head. In fact, that's the social clip for this episode is just the crowd broke Randy Orton, who's usually pretty bulletproof on a microphone. So he goes through the whole thing.
Yeah, they broke him.
Dude, Cody has big balls. He stole the Miz's gimmick.
And he cannot lie.
He's got big balls. He went off, and everybody appreciates the fact that he started a wrestling company that can make wrestlers more money. I'm sure WWE doesn't necessarily appreciate that, but they still welcomed him back. He won a Hell in the Cells match with one arm, black and blue like nobody's business. And then he finished the story. But the problem is, Cody, there's always another story. And this year you're dealing with John Cena and you need to kick his ass up and down the Las Vegas Strip. And then Randy Orton almost gets orgasmic because he is so excited with the idea of kicking Kevin Owens' head.
This is where you get really nervous when you talk about Randy Orton and orgasmic if you're following Randy Orton on Twitter.
Well, the voice in his head say he's going to kick Kevin Owens' head off his shoulders, and he's just got this look on his face. I could meme Randy Orton right now all of the day long, but don't worry. Drew McIntyre comes out and he's heard enough of this loving, and he's like, "Look at you two nepo babies." I'm like, "Damn, Drew's coming strong too." He would have been in the main event if it wasn't for Priest and that Temu Undertaker. Zing! Like this.
Yes.
And then he comes in and he's calling those two out. But before he gets too far into that, Cody drops down, punches him in the head, and we almost get an RKO, but this will lead to a match later. Greg, if they're going to make this a 3-hour SmackDown, at least start with strong. I mean, part of the middle was bad, but this was great.
Yes, it was an interesting start, to say the least, and honestly, probably a lot better for me as I watched at 1.5 speed.
So the best part about this, Greg, is that we're teasing all of these matches. So yes, we have WrestleMania set up, and these guys all have stuff to do at WrestleMania, but we're all reminded Drew wants the title, Randy wants the title. If Cody keeps it, he's got problems after WrestleMania.
Sure, but Cody's always got problems.
Well, that's because he's got adrenaline in his soul, and that makes it hard to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Street
I mean, it's very hard for you. If you're running on adrenaline, it's very hard to sleep. So, yeah.
Dude, the best part of the show may have come out next because, first of all, this is your first time hearing the new Street Profit song, and that was not the best part. Oh, my God. They got Def Jammed.
Yeah, that thing. I've seen steaming piles of dog shit that I actually enjoyed a lot better than that. Because, dear God in heaven, what in the hell?
I'm stealing this from that term Def Jammed. I gotta shout out the group that stole that. I stole that from because they crack me up every time. So there's a wrestling podcast, another group that does this, and they are anyways, I'll find it in a second. So yes, their song sucks, but Greg, give me the breakdown. How did we like Pretty Deadly's absolutely amazing stuff?
I actually wish that Pretty Deadly, they pulled the trigger on Pretty Deadly here tonight.
Oh, the crowd wanted what you wanted. Cultaholic Wrestling. So they call it Def Jammed when you get new music, and it's that you go from an iconic song to
that.
Let's make a Def Jam song. We can do it right now. You ready? Okay. So you take a song that people like, you take nothing from it.
Okay.
You then make sure you start with the name being yelled. So like if you notice their song starts with Street Profits.
I legitimately did not recognize or realize that. And I at that point I was like, this is the worst thing. Do you know what? Naomi's theme is actually growing on me compared to this steaming pile of dog shit.
Like remember, I don't know if you remember, but when Cody was in AEW, he got a remix of his song with Snoop Dogg, and everybody groaned at that.
Cody had a song with Snoop Dogg?
Cody's theme song has a remix version where Snoop Dogg raps over the beat of his song, and he does all the lyrics like adrenaline in my soul. He does a version of all that, and then when it gets to the my father says that, the guitar riff part kicks back in, and then the second verse, Snoop raps over it again.
Really? I have no recollection of this at all.
It came up on my scroll today, so it's the only reason I remembered it. And that people are like, it grew on you. This Street Profit song will never grow on me. In my head, every time they come out, I'm going to, no, screw that. I'm actually going to mute this TV and I'm going to put on their theme song on my phone and enjoy the old theme song.
I mean, that would make sense.
The only good news is that the old theme song didn't make the game. And I'll be really mad if they do some DLC and they take the good song out, put the new song in.
They did put the old song in the game?
Yeah, the old song's still in the game for the time being.
Okay, cool. I was like, if I thought you said that it didn't make the game, I was like, oh dear God.
DLC though, because they're gonna they're gonna screw around. Like they don't like paying. I don't know what the other group did, CFO, but they don't like paying them any royalties.
So it's funny. I had the what do you call it? I had closed captioning on tonight while I was watching SmackDown and trying to finish up some things on my workday. And I actually got, closed captioning for their their theme songs as well. And it actually says, okay, like when Randy Orton's came out, it's like voices remixed or something. And it's like Jim Johnson. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. There was another that came out and it was like, okay, Def Rebel or whatever. But it's like, it was giving the artists and stuff too. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, that's an interesting way to do that, to have it right included there. But you're right. Like CFO, I don't remember seeing a CFO one.
Whatever happened, they're out, and Def Rebel is our new, like, yeah, anybody. I like at this point, I'm not even kidding. Like, give Burkhead a sumo deluxe ref thing and let him play with ChatGPT. His theme songs are better than anything they do.
Yeah.
All right. So this match was, the story of this was Elton Prince and Kip Williams taking bullets for each other this whole match. But the match really picks up near the end, where we get the rebound catapult codebreaker from Prince. Dawkins gets a hot tag, and they just start working over Pretty Deadly. There's another blind tag where Pretty Deadly, one of them gets tossed. They do like a tossing suplex. Kip Williams breaks up for like the fifth time, another one, and eventually they hit the top rope blockbuster off the shoulders for the win. And yeah, the Doomsday blockbuster is a great finish. I like it way better than the two of them doing their own, like, one sky high from the heavens as a finish. But after all the saves Pretty Deadly did, I was sure they were winning.
Yeah, I was hopeful that we were going to get a Pretty Deadly win. I think actually, honestly, it probably would have made more sense based on where they were and everything else. But yeah.
Well, it makes more sense if they're going to put all these teams on WrestleMania, or let's be honest, the 3-hour SmackDown we're going to watch before WrestleMania. But yeah, I don't know. Like, so right now, it's like the Street Profits are clearing out the division.
The question is why? Yeah.
Montez Ford has naked pictures of somebody.
I don't know.
So let's keep going. So the Selena Vega's there with, and I had to like, wait, who are these two? It's Katana Chance and Caden Carter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're gonna wrestle. I thought this was gonna be a 6-woman tag, but instead we're gonna get the first ever Secret Hervice tag team match against Katana Chance and Caden Carter, who the announcers. Go ahead.
By the way, on Cage Match, I'm pissed at Cage Match right now, because you know how they have it listed here?
What?
The Green Regime.
Boo!
Yeah.
Cage Match usually does really fine work. Also, if you checked on Cage Match, you would have found out that Caden Carter and Katana Chance have not wrestled on SmackDown since December.
Yeah, they said that on the show.
I was like, dear God. Well, yeah, that's where I got it from. But I double checked it on Cage Match. I was like, really? Okay, so I think I know why. It may have been the fact that there was one point where Alba Fire just bumped all over the place. Piper Niven took one of the party girls out on the outside. Caden Carter and Katana Chance try and do this thing where they like roll in a ball and throw themselves at the other one. That did not work. And if Piper didn't catch that poor girl, she would have gone flying and landed on the back of her head. And then they did the keg stand moonsault. And I thought they legitimately hurt Piper, because Caden came down like a sack of potatoes on top of poor Piper. Doesn't matter. Caden Carter hits a Samoan jar up on Piper, and the Club Girls will try to do something, but thank God for Chelsea Green. She distracts them, and we get a Piper driver for the 1, 2, 3. Eventually, Piper and Alba Fire need a tag team name, but as long as they keep wrestling in those suits, Greg, I don't care.
Yeah. Do you know what? The Secret Hervice? I like it.
In the suits. They need to wrestle in the suits.
Suits.
It's a gear improvement for both girls.
Yeah.
But Piper needs to learn right from the jump street. Did you notice the first thing that Fire did was take off her necktie? Piper was like, yeah, this tie, like.
Yeah. I did not notice that, but yeah, I could see that.
Okay, so random celebrity, some singer, and a UFC fighter were in the crowd.
Whatever. Moving on.
Strowman versus LA Knight is what we're getting next. Yeah. Okay. So there's a bulldog. LA Knight tries to take him out on the outside. Nothing happens. Eventually, we get a very impressive back body drop from LA Knight onto Braun Strowman. He hits the elbow, no luck. And Strowman hits the Strowman Express, or he is trying to, and Jacob Fatu takes him out of nowhere. And then Jacob Fatu just wipes everybody out. That's the end of the match. And the crowd loves them some Jacob Fatu, flying elbows, and of course, his moonsault onto Braun Strowman.
Right.
So we're getting a 3-way or a 4-way or a 5-way for the U.S. title at WrestleMania, or more likely on the SmackDown before?
I'm not even sure at this point anymore.
Do you even care?
Not really, if I'm being honest.
This match, the most merciful thing they did was to cut it short. Okay, Greg, we are 45 minutes into the show before we get recap number 1.
And that's only because they sang the first 45 minutes.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, so Jimmy Uso's in the back. They're talking about him slapping Gunther. And
the slap heard around the world? I'm like, no. Legitimately, not even close.
Yeah, which Miz agrees with you and says, you've always been a sidekick. Your brother's always been a sidekick. Take it from a real main eventer. And when he goes to threaten to slap the Miz flinches. And he's like, I'm going to talk to Aldis. We can have ourselves a match later.
Do you know what that it reminded me of? It reminded me of, if you've watched How I Met Your Mother, the whole Barney and the slap bet, and how much you flinch every time that Marshall goes to slap him.
Oh, it's so much fun. Yeah, well, maybe, listen, if Jay got yeet, Jimmy got slapped.
Sure. I'm sure there's a better way to run that, but let's move on.
Recap number 2. Hey, Jay got beat up last week. That's what you missed, Greg. Oh, and recap 3. Jacob ran an assault and battery on LA Knight and Braun Strowman about 40 seconds ago. Every once in a while, you have to wonder if, does our guy, he who should not be named, does he still have some sort of, he does have some stock left in the company. Maybe that's his thing. He gets to declare, I need another recap.
Listen, the quicker that this show goes to a more condensed format, the better it is for everyone.
So Jacob's in the back and he runs in a solo and they're asking him, like, what is he doing? And he gets all mouthy with them until he's like, hey man, you need to calm your tone. And so he lowers his voice and he says, when it comes to me and Braun Strowman, it's on site until it's the last one standing, and I'm going to win the U.S. title, and I'm going to bring it back to the family. Either you get on board or you get out of the way. Jacob Fatu, coolest thing walking.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so done with a lot of this stuff.
Nobody can get along. It's WWE. Nobody has friends. Everybody hates each other.
Sure.
Okay, we get a Naomi promo in the back. She has stolen Owen Hart's gear, the caution tape, except that she's just wrapped herself in it. She didn't buy any gear.
Yeah, honestly, this actually was so much better than the Jade Naomi confrontation. Sorry, the Bianca Naomi confrontation from like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, this was awesome. She said she was always a person who did the right thing. And how can you not believe me, Bianca, when I told you I did the right thing? I took out Jade because you let her take my place. Who was the one that inspired you? Who's the one that took care of you? Who's the one that helped you on the come up? And you treated me like this? Well, you all need to proceed with caution. And it's like, oh, that's why you were in the caution tape. And Greg, this was true. There's a story that has come out in real life. Naomi was wanted to bring Bianca up to the main roster and have her be her tag team partner. That's how she wanted her to come up to the main roster. And then Bianca would turn on her and would go, and Naomi would put her over. Like, she's always wanted good for this girl.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nick Aldis is in the back and Jade's there. Jade said it's on site. She then runs in Meechin and to BFAB and says, hey man, we got your back. You know, she's crazy. And now we're going to take care of Charlotte because she took out BFAB last week. Fine. So this match is about to happen, and then Naomi comes out. She takes out B-Fab. She takes out Michin. X Factor's all around. Then Jade comes down. She runs away, and Jade is so concerned with B-Fab, she walks her up the aisle, and that was done intentionally, Greg, just so we could have Jade and Charlotte look at each other.
Sure.
I don't want that match. Do you want that match?
I need to think on that. I actually would not hate that match, but I don't know. I can't process that yet.
I think Jade has a lot of potential, and hopefully, and she is getting better. She needs to learn how to do a move and not pose. But Charlotte Flair, Charlotte's an instant channel change for me. If you told me we could ship her over to visit Sean Burkett in AEW land, then great.
Listen, I like that they planted the seed here, so I'm okay with this.
I know. I just don't want to. I just don't want to see Charlotte. And then I was sure we're getting a big boot on Michin, and that was going to be the whole match.
That was how that should have played out. But no, we've got 3 hours to fill. So
that we get a tornado DDT. We get a suplex. Listen, at the end of the day, Michin almost beat her with Eat Defeat. But then Charlotte's sitting next to the steps outside. Michin, like a dummy, tries to kick her in the head and kicks the steps. And that means Charlotte could attack the leg and put on the figure 8. Fine. So Charlotte wins. I don't even know what to say, Greg, because it's not like Charlotte's going to lose 2 weeks before WrestleMania.
No. We can only hope and pray she loses at WrestleMania, though.
But you know what didn't happen? Tiffy didn't go out and attack her.
No, because she was too busy in the back.
Cutting a promo, talking about she realized something. She realized in the promo last week that she shouldn't be cutting long-winded promos.
Yes.
That's not what she said, though. What she said was Charlotte made a point last week that if I lose to her, I lose to the great Charlotte Flair. But if she loses to me, she loses to a 25-year-old rookie who is a blonde, who's unoriginal, who can do backflips. And if I win, I finally get to shut Charlotte Flair up. But she did make one good point in this whole promo. That Charlotte has a massive ego. And finally, that Charlotte doesn't know how to cut a promo. Even though she doesn't get it. Because if you beat somebody who's a nobody, then you've beat nothing. If you lose to somebody who's a nobody, then you're the joke.
Yeah. I was going to say, Tiffy there with the line, though, of the what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So hopefully Charlotte's ego will be staying in Vegas after I beat it out of her.
And you know what? Maybe Charlotte can find somebody else in the roster she can hook up with and get married. I hear they have wedding chapels.
Oh.
She's kind of catching up.
Hold on. No, only though if your partner is impaired and you drive them through.
Oh, no. See, you went with the Triple H and Stephanie joke, which is hilarious that Triple H is going to Hall of Fame during this.
In Vegas.
Oh, I totally didn't even think about that till now. But you know what else is
if they recreate that, I would die laughing.
But, Charlotte Flair, she's going to catch her daddy's title record. She might as well catch her daddy's other record, which is divorces. She's only one behind.
That's the sad and scary part all right there.
So we're going to get Randy Orton sing-along twice because he's going to wrestle Drew McIntyre. I love this beginning of this match because these two are smart enough to know they didn't have to do very much in order to get a big reaction.
Yeah.
But Randy does eventually drop Drew on the table. That's our first break. But when we come back, Drew, obviously, they know what to do. When you go into commercial break, the heel gets the heat, the baby face starts selling, and Randy Orton starts rolling classic punches into the power slam, vintage DDT. And just as Randy Orton's about to finish off Kevin Owens causes the distraction. Drew McIntyre hits Claymore out of nowhere. He's out of there. He's got his win. Kevin Owens is trying to take advantage of a wounded Randy Orton by putting him through the table or destroying him on the table with the reinforced table, the pile driver. He gets away. Randy gets out of that. Kevin Owens is down. Randy's going to punt him, but Kevin's smart enough to run away. They are really going to tease us hard for this punt.
They are. We'll get it at WrestleMania. That'll be the payoff. And yeah.
And Kevin Owens gets a vacation.
Yeah.
So Ray Phoenix promo, and he's coming to SmackDown next week.
Yeah. I don't like this.
Do you know why he's coming to SmackDown next week and why they didn't just put him on the show the first week?
I don't know, but I don't like this for one big reason.
Because it's 2 weeks before WrestleMania and he's not going to have anything to do with WrestleMania?
Sure. But like you have a luchador storyline going on the other show of Chad Gable going to understand the secrets of the luchador. You have a luchador you're bringing in. He should be the one who's showing Chad Gable these damn secrets.
But he's the brother of the luchador that he's feuding with.
So
Ray Phoenix is going to be on SmackDown. And
here's the thing. Does that matter?
No.
Like, did you have to tell people these guys were brothers?
No.
Right?
Doesn't matter. This is all, Greg, just tranquilo. It's going to be fine. Ray Phoenix is great. I just hope that they find something for him to do because most likely he's going to end up feuding with, let's see, Andrade, Santos, Garza. What do these things have in common?
Yeah. Yep. All them.
Because only Latinos can. That's why they put Chad Gable in a mask.
Right.
Because luchadors have to feud with luchadors.
Right.
It's so like it's like, is this racist or is this just the fact that lucha libre is so different than American style?
I don't know, but what I do know is what's up next.
Greg's like, hurry up, I gotta get up early. Jimmy versus the Miz. Okay, the story of this match is that Miz is super underrated.
I don't know if you can say that.
I would
Man's
say
been there for like 20 plus years. How can you say he's underrated?
Because he does some stuff in this match that is incredible. But this match is brought to you by Men's Warehouse, by the way. And It's funny that the guy who wears a suit everywhere, that's where Miz gets his suits.
Yes, the Men's Warehouse.
Oh, Jimmy. All right, Jimmy. Jimmy has had 13 matches this year. They're trading shots back and forth. I love that Miz pulls the ripcord clothesline, the best ripcord clothesline in professional wrestling. Eat it, Okada. Miz hits his DDT, and then at one point they do a strike exchange where Jimmy hits a spin kick, and then Miz bounces off the ropes and comes back and kicks Jimmy in the head. Like there's just he's just fluid, but eventually. Miz tries to hit a springboard, eats a super kick, and an Uso splash. The best part of this match was afterwards, where Jimmy got on the mic, grabbed the headset from the commentator, and looked at the camera and said, "I'm gonna turn you from the ring general into a private, and because I'm gonna slap the taste out of your mouth on Monday." And then he yeet. They're building Jimmy up just so they can knock him down.
Yeah.
So sure, Drew walk and talk. He's gonna go get drunk, and he's gonna meet Andrew. And he said, "Look, I called Priest out. I told him he should have meet me here." And that Temu Undertaker should show up. He didn't call him that there, but right behind the door is Damian Priest, and they fight. They fight on somebody's car. The guy gets in the way. Drew puts him through a table. They fight on top of the car and eventually choke slamming Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest choke slamming Drew McIntyre through the windshield, and Damian's like, ma.
Yes, and this is where we get tonight's episode title, because Damian Priest looks at Drew McIntyre and says, "Rest in peace, jackass."
He heard that Temu Undertaker line, and he's like, "Oh yeah?
Rest in peace, jackass." It feels very Happy Gilmore 2 coming up this summer on Netflix.
And also, CM Punk walks through the scene, he looks at Drew McIntyre and smirks. It's like, come on.
He hears voices in his head too.
But you know what the beautiful thing about this is? That feud these two should hate each other forever. And WWE doesn't let us forget things anymore. Instead of like CM Punk walking by in a previous regime, and he would have gone over and been like, "Drew, are you okay, Drew?"
Sometimes you just need that smirk.
Recap. This was only the fourth of the recap of the night. John Cena on Raw. I wonder if they're going to talk some more on this Monday. For more talking, you can, and breaking down the John Cena's promos as they get worse and worse and worse, and don't mention The Rock, you can listen to the Raw Dogs, Randy C and Eric B, right here on the Hub. The guys will be back every Monday after Raw, and this is the last time they can do it early on a Monday evening because we're going back to 9 o'clock, boys.
Doesn't that just make you a little bit sad?
Well, they're going back across the ocean in August. Listen, you weren't here for the European vacation. Ironically, we're basically recording at the time we always record.
Yeah, we do. We are tonight. And that's all me. I missed European vacation, Euro trip. I did also appreciate, Berkey's Greg Doesn't Know from the beginning of last week, because the first I heard of it, that I immediately thought of Scotty Doesn't Know in Euro Trip, and makes me want to watch that movie again. I also have been fighting the urge for the last month and a half or so with the Pope in hospital with the white smoke. We have a new Pope. So I think now that he's out, I can safely watch Euro Trip.
He not only is he out, he kicked out, dude. Every time you think that man's gonna die, he's like, nah, he's the Undertaker. He is. Paul Bear raises the urn and he's back up.
That 2 count, boy, I tell you.
So Roman Reigns comes out, and this takes 10 minutes between his entrance and the fan singing. This was a 30-minute segment that took 10 minutes to get Roman Reigns in the damn ring.
So legit, at this point, I have my head down. I'm working. I don't realize this is the last segment because I'm doing this I've got my MacBook plugged into my TV. I'm working on my personal or on my work laptop and going away. And I'm like, okay, what else is on the show and stuff here? And I'm powering through this. Like, it's going out of style, right? At 1.5 times speed. And then the end, and I get the credit. I'm like, wait, what? Like, it just ended so abruptly. I know we're not quite there yet, but I was like, you say it's 10 minutes for the whole Roman Reigns part. I did not feel the 10 minutes because
you're on 1.5.
1.5 speed. Tell you, it's the way to watch this part.
The OTC came out for 2 reasons: to have people acknowledge him and check, and to sign a contract. Check. So Seth comes out. He's laughing like a madman after they sing his song, which takes another 5 minutes. And 12 years ago, they came here to this very building to rebuild the company as they put the Undertaker through an announce table. And then finally, you kept saying that we were going to do this. And Roman's just like, like, this is not about a we, this is a me. I'm the one that brought us to the success. I'm the one that brought us to the promised land. And finally, Rollins had enough. He's like, this is the problem. You don't see Punk as a threat. You don't see the danger, and you don't want to share the credit. He didn't really talk about the credit, but really that is the problem here. CM Punk comes out and he steals Roddy Piper's line. I came here to chew bubblegum and sign a contract, and I'm all out of bubblegum. So he
spits the gum out of his head that he was chewing.
Punk goes and he's going ready to sign. He's looking through and he's looking through and he's looking through. And finally, it is Paul Heyman who says, you got what you wanted. You are going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And this 3-way is probably going to main event night 1 of WrestleMania. Suck it.
You think,
Suck it, Jay.
It's the night 1?
How do you not have John Cena going for winning his 17th title? And I'm going to say that now, over Cody as night 2.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering, right? Like, do you want to send people home happy and save this for night 2 and have John Cena win on night 1 and people be pissed?
Well, or this is the Empire Strikes Back and Cody. I mean, they did that one year where Cody didn't beat Roman, and that was everybody went home pissed, but it worked out the year after. And maybe they've learned. We get a sad WrestleMania and a happy WrestleMania. Sad WrestleMania, happy WrestleMania.
Oh, God. Right.
Okay, so anyways, Punk is so happy that he's there. He's almost in tears. And Seth Rollins loses his mind. He doesn't deserve it. I told you. And then finally Roman Reigns is hilarious. He's like, see, look, and a favor cashed in. Check. So they're going to main event WrestleMania. That was the secret. Seth is completely unglued. He's screaming, "This is all your fault." And he thanked everyone who got him there. And at the very end, Roman's like, "Come on, aren't you going to thank me?" And he gets down on one knee and he's like, "I want to thank you, my tribal chief, holder of the Ulafala. Thank you. But just so you know, me getting my main event wasn't my favor." And he drops the mic. And like the whole time the credits are rolling. So you can tell these guys are like hustling through the end of the promo. This is great though. What a cliffhanger. So he got his WrestleMania main event, but that was not the favor.
No.
Is the favor that Paul Heyman is switching corners?
I don't even know. And do you know what? I'm not sure I care anymore.
I'm going to make a bold prediction right now. Seth Rollins, as I think Jimmy may have mentioned on the main show this week, Seth Rollins is winning. It was either Jimmy or Donnie. I'll give credit to Jimmy. Sorry, Donnie. If it's you, I owe you an apology. But I think Seth needs to win. And as they've talked about on the main show, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the main show, The Hub, Huge Pop Radio. You can hear it on TSN and on other things. But yeah, I would argue with you right now, Greg. But we won't argue too long because it's close to bedtime. I think Seth is the one that needs to win because he keeps losing these feuds.
Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. I can make a logical argument for any of these guys to win. But that's the problem.
So Roman doesn't lose anything for losing. Right. Seth gets a WrestleMania thing, and this gives us something else for CM Punk. So CM Punk has had a WrestleMania main event, but he's never won a WrestleMania main event.
That means we've got to listen to him whine for another year?
Does he know how to do anything else? Start fights in locker rooms was the right answer.
Yes, he does. Because, I mean, he knows how to, get himself injured, I guess, and sit on the shelf for a while.
And start fights in locker rooms. And segregate himself from all the other top talents, at least in AEW.
Yeah, legit. We know that he's actually, doing great now that he's back and all that stuff. We are just razzing here a little bit.
Listen, I think the best thing that ever happened for both companies was CM Punk getting out of AEW and WWE bringing him back in, because maybe the reason he's so happy now is that he's finally made peace with all these people that he had that they weren't getting along with.
Maybe.
All right, let's take it to the synopsis.
This is your SmackDown synopsis.
Good thing I always clean that up in post and Greg is
I hope you don't. You're not going to clean that up in post. You're going to forget. Like last week, you forgot to put your rewinds in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Burkhead is quite the faker because I'm pressing the button the whole show with the sounds, and Burkhead is reacting to the sounds like a pro.
He doesn't tell you that, hey, I can't hear that crap, Brad. Like I do all the time.
He's just, I'm pressing the button and Burkhead's not just reacting. All right, we're going to go with the Yaz and the booze. So either Greg, and I'm not going to give you any middle ground tonight because you're out of practice. So either you keep it or you cut it. You can't go in the middle. So either you're going to
one thing we forgot to talk about. There's a new announcer.
Oh yeah. Which they WWE'd his name.
Yeah, they def rebelled him.
Anyways, he's great. I feel bad for Mike Rome, who is the NXT announcer, because you're never getting out of NXT, dude.
No, you're there now.
And Lillian Garcia, it will be back for Sunday night's main events.
Yes. Saturday night's main event.
And Sunday night's main event is coming back too. So that's a whole different thing.
All right.
Okay, so either give me a yeah or a boo. Okay.
All right.
So what do you want to do? Cody Rhodes talking segment.
Sure.
Yeah. Pretty Deadly versus the Street Profits.
No. Only because they didn't have Pretty Deadly win.
Sure. Kate, I'm going to give my own yeah right now to Wade Barrett getting drunken a lot on this European trip. Yeah. Which he mentioned on commentary. How about the club girls in the back talking with I'm gonna put that, their promo, and Caden Carter and Katana Chance losing to the Secret Hervice.
Sure. We'll keep.
Yeah. But I am definitely cutting out the idea that Zelina Vega could be the heavy and come save people. Just what?
Yes, all 72 pounds of her, the heavy.
Braun Strowman versus LA Knight.
Nope.
Jimmy Miz promo.
Yes, because slap bet.
What?
Slap bet.
Slap bet. Okay, fair enough. Jacob Fatu and Solo fighting in the back.
Nope.
Naomi, crazy Naomi promo.
Sure.
Yeah. Naomi taking out B-Fab and Meechin.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, this allows you to cut Charlotte Flair versus B-Fab or Meechin.
Yep. Cut it.
It's Tiffy time, talking time.
Yeah, we'll keep Tiffy. Yeah. I could use me some Tiffy time.
Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre.
So that's yes, but I'm reading. I hesitate because I'm reading like I'm not going to say the site, but a news site of what happened, and they actually have it listed as Drew McIntyre defeats Kevin Owens at 7:58.
Oops.
Hence my wait. What? Hold on.
Jimmy Uso versus The Miz.
Sure.
Yeah. And Drew McIntyre / Damian Priest beat down in the parking lot.
Yes, because we have to keep this just for the rest in peace Jackass.
Yeah. And your 30-minute
that's going to be one of your socials this week is me saying rest in peace Jackass and you laughing like a schoolgirl.
Yes, because I still laugh at naughty words. John Cena recap is already cut. Okay, so this leads us to the main event. Your talking segment that sets up one of your main events for WrestleMania.
Yes, this has to stay.
Yeah. So overall, Greg, you got the good episode and Sean Burkhead got hosed last week.
It's better at 1.5 times. That's what we learn.
We learn that every time we watch SmackDown on delay. Unfortunately, they're coming back to normal time. So, see,
that just means we got to start doing Saturday morning recordings.
I can hear Greg's plotting already. So, friends, thank you again for joining us for this episode of the SmackDaddies. You can tune in to the hub for all of your podcasts. Next up in sequence will be Storytime with Jimmy, where you get a hilarious story from Jimmy from his time with WWE as a referee. You then will get the Raw Dogs breaking down Monday Night with Randy C and Eric B. And then Huge Pop Radio will be back on Wednesday on TSN, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts, including right here. And if you're looking for something outside of wrestling, today, Sean Burkhead and I released our second of 3 Marvel podcasts where we're going to review the Daredevil series on Netflix.
Yes. Is it Netflix? Or I thought it was Disney.
Sorry, Disney Plus. It's the former Netflix series. It's now on Disney Plus because Marvel owns everything.
Sure.
Or Disney owns everything. Anyways, we'll be back next week. Unfortunately, back to 9:00 local time start of SmackDown.
Yeah, we'll figure something out because there's no way in hell we're watching this. I'm not going to midnight anymore.
No. We only have a couple more months left before we get our Saturdays back, or we get our Fridays back. They're going back at the end of May.
I have not seen anything official, but we also waited until December before they're like, oh, by the way, come January, it's a 3-hour show. So come on, Trips, if you're listening to this, if someone is giving you a transcript, for the love of all things holy, give us an announcement soon of when this 3-hour crap is going away.
You know what? That would be I think WrestleMania weekend would be the perfect time to start this. So let's end with this. And I think at some point we should probably maybe sit down with some of the hub people, pick a night, and we'll go through the insanity that is WrestleMania. So right now, as it stands, you're going to get SmackDown the Hall of Fame ceremony, and then an after party. Then
is the ceremony going to be live and on SmackDown type thing again?
No, they're going to a different building. So whoever's on SmackDown, they're going to have to boogie down the strip to the Hall of Fame ceremony. Then there's an after party at the same place that the Hall of Fame's at, because every night they hired a different musician to do like club music. Then you get a comedy show after both nights of WrestleMania. They moved NXT 2 hours earlier, so it's going to be like, I don't know. It's like it's
6 a.m.
It's like a morning start. It's WrestleMania starts 3:00 local time. So NXT is going to start at like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. local time. So for us, that's like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m.
So the Hall of Fame show legitimately is not starting until midnight our time.
Yes.
Saturday morning. Yeah, we're not freaking watching. We're not watching that. We are not.
We are breaking tradition. We are breaking tradition.
I'm not even sure you're going to get a speed run of the night before WrestleMania, because yeah,
it depends on how we're divvying up the WrestleMania podcast. Because WrestleMania, the pre-show for WrestleMania starts at 3:00 local time, so it's like 6:00 our time. It's like the whole day. Remember when you were a kid and you're like, man, I wish there was more than 1 hour of wrestling a week. We wish too hard, Gregory. We wish too hard.
Yeah. And now we're inducting matches too. Like,
yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, this is okay. At some point, we will not watch it Hall of Fame. They'll know.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Revolutionary podcasting, sports entertainment. Bob and Greg and Brad, the dad bless you all, the lovely tales. A Friday night, SmackDown and beyond. Go to the outer limits of your mind with the SmackDaddies. Friday night, SmackDown and beyond. Go to